The horse should be placed on a safe place where the horse feels comfortable and the operator is comfortable to change the bandage. Importantly, it has to be placed on a clean area so the surgical site is not really contaminated. The bandage material should be placed ahead of time and prepared in a clean area. And for the bandage today, we have a Telfa pad, we have a conform cling, we have a expand over, which is an adhesive bandage, we have a cotton sheet, and we have another conform cotton cling, vet wrap, and an elastoplast. The previous bandage is removed with the horse standing in a clean area, in this case cross ties or wash rack. If the horse is not standing quietly, it will be necessary to have a second person handling the horse. This particular bandage that is being changed today is post-operative for a splint bone fracture. This surgery typically involves the removal of the fracture fragment, and in this case we can see a little bit of blood seeping through the bandage. This is a normal finding on post-operative bandages, but typically this disappears within the first 24 to 48 hours. In this case we're using a scalpel blade to cut through the bandage. This technique is a little bit risky to do at home or with a horse that is fractious or moving, because potentially you can cut into the horse. So ideally a pair of scissors could be also used. The particular thing about this bandage for a splint bone fracture is that we place rolled cling directly on top of the incision, as is shown in this image. And the idea is for this cotton cling to produce additional pressure on the incision, given that these surgeries are prone to develop a lot of exudate, or what we call a seroma. This is the Telfa that it was placed against the incision. This is the incision 24 hours post-operatively. It looks very dry, looks very good. We can see the staples. In this case they were used to close the skin. Ideally, when placing a bandage post-operatively, we should wear gloves. The Telfa is handled only from the corners, so the area that is going to come into contact with the wound is not touched by the hands. And directly on top of the Telfa we are placing, in this case, a 6-inch conform. So what we can see here, as I was saying before, is the bulge of the 6-inch conform cling that is being placed against the incision for the purpose of diminishing the chances of having a post-operative seroma. Again, this is particularly important in these post-operative bandages for splint bone removal. It's not really done in other type of surgery. This is the first layer of the bandage replaced. It's important for a bandage to be uniform and not having any sort of bulges. Then we place expand over top of our bandage just to secure it safely and to seal it. This material is very user-friendly. and prevents slippage of the first bandage throughout the day. The next phase of the bandage is to place a sheet cotton, and this is an important part. This is what we consider the outer shell of the bandage. It is important that the sheet cotton is well conformed and fitted snugly to the extremity. This is done by manually placing a little bit of tension and then placing a comfort plane, in this case a 6-inch comfort plane, over top of it to produce again a well fitted and a snug bandage outer shell. Once the bandage is fit and snug, the outer shell is almost ready to be completed. We do this by snugly fitting vet wrap from top to bottom, and it's important to put this bandage snug and firm. Our experience is that most people tend to place this bandage a little bit too loose for fear of producing too much pressure. In reality, the key is to produce even pressure, and with good cushion or a good sheet cotton, it is very difficult to actually produce too much pressure. It is important to go under the heels with the entire bandage and with the vet wrap layer. To finish the bandage, the top and bottom are sealed with elastoplast, basically 1 or 2 times around. And this is the finished product.